Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Kaleidoscopic Chaos, starring
Hello.
Gerry and Joy.
Hi.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while, but it's also not been a while for us because, unbeknownst to y'all, and knownst to some, we have been trying to do this podcast for, I don't know, like a month or two now.
It's been a while. We've had a couple of setbacks, most of which have been just, personally on our end, kind of different life things. And then
Yes.
we did record one, and then I done did messed up in the process.
You done did messed up. Yep. But, um, we're here now.
Yep.
And we've learned.
Yes, we have.
And
We have.
and hopefully this episode is going to be as good as the one we did record. It was very good, but I think, you know,
My bad.
we're good at just chatting and having a good time, and that's what I'm looking forward to today is just kind of catching up with everybody, our two viewers. My
Exactly.
boyfriend and your boyfriend. Oh wait.
Oh wait, yeah. So nice little segue because it's
Last podcast.
yeah. Last podcast we talked about being single over the holidays and what it's like being single and how that is and blah 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 and how poetic that we find ourselves in the situation that we are in right now.
Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Can you
No,
believe it?
no, like that's just it. Because that last one, when did we record it? Was it December or January?
December.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, little
So
did
we
we
were
know.
like we were in a totally different place
Oh
than
my
we are
gosh.
now. And it's just crazy. Like I to be honest, I kind of just blurted that out. I didn't mean to be like but yeah, like we were so single.
Oh my
And
gosh.
maybe I'm more unhappily in your case, I think a bit more, but I was more like, everyone needs to stay away from me. I hate everyone, like men. I just was like not down for it. And then flash forward till now, and I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
So it's just such a, like, you felt a bit easier of a progression, but like for me, it's just, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe like what's happened.
Oh, I
Um,
no, like this whole experience has been surreal. It's still surreal more often than not. Like it's just like what happened? Like for both of us, and the fact that it happened to the both of us simultaneously, it's the kind of thing where
yeah.
you're like, who's writing this? Like what? Like you can't make this up.
Yeah. It's so to, unnecessarily overshare as we always do.
Obviously, and to put in context for all you people who are just dying to know what the heck
Of
is
course,
going on.
dying. So, it started with me.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of catch everyone up, if you aren't aware, if you're new, which probably whatever, who cares? Anyway, I went through a really bad relationship breakup like 3 years ago. It took me a really long time to be okay. Gerry had a relationship like a year ago, or
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember. Yeah, it was like a year
Oh
ago,
yeah.
and that ended. And she was more like chill, like more like, okay, that's unfortunate. It was, they were still working through things, but you were more ready. I think you were wanting to like move
Well,
forward. I
yeah,
think, and like,
exactly. And I
you know what
think
I mean? Like you were like, I want someone.
well, exactly.
You
Like
know.
I think for me that first relationship really cemented the fact that where it's like, "Oh, I don't think I'm meant to be single for the rest of my life," or I don't think
Right.
I'm meant to be single for the rest of my life. I don't think that's what I want. And but it's the question of finding the right person. Um
Yeah.
it's such a thing is that I know that like again, every relationship marks us in different ways, if I can put it that way. Some of us it will
Mm-hmm.
scar and traumatize more than others. Like I'm grateful that like I didn't come out of that relationship completely and utterly scarred. Like that's just it. Um Realizing I did not reset this microphone properly. Let's do that right now. Um but yeah, like I know that I just really felt, again, very grown from that experience and was like, okay, now that we know better, that we know different, what's next kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and I was like more scarred obviously from my relationship, but it was, so for me it was constantly like I don't, like as I said, I don't like men. I don't know how in fact, like in January and February I had these thoughts of like how am I expected, like how can I expect to be with someone when I can't even like positively view them,
oh
because
yeah.
I already, like I knew that like I was negative towards men generally in a romantic way. So basically, again, God thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All of a sudden in February, I was like,
And just to cut you off before, because like as
mhm,
much as for me, I wasn't necessarily as adverse to men as you were. I still went into this next phase all that much more intentional about it, but already like I was like, I know what I'm looking for, and I will not settle for anything. No, I'm not saying, yeah, no, I was
did you
not going to
write
be
like a
settled.
whole like book, like a
Oh my god,
bunch of pages or
I
like
have
a
a
whole doc? I forgot about that.
I have a Google. No, and this I did this in January where I sat myself down and I was like, okay, now let's be very intentional about this. What do you want? What are we looking for? So that like I'm not just throwing myself into the ether and just being like, okay, just so that I know them consciously, not just implicitly, but just know them like explicitly what it is I'm looking for. So yeah, I have a Google document that is called Wifey Prep, or Wifey Hubby Prep. Point being, uh, it's yeah, for me it was a section of, okay, what are the questions that I want to ask? Here are the things I want to know. Like here are the um, what I want to
It was like
know. Yeah,
non-negotiables, and
exactly.
then it was like
Well,
questions you want to know.
there were different because I'm thorough. The first section was more questions, and it was the like there was a section of, okay, here's what I want to know, like on the first date slash here's what I need to know before I'm ready to really go into like a second date or actually consider this viable. And
Yeah.
then there was a section that was more just general getting to know you questions, and then there was a section of just general random questions that came to mind. Um, Again, very important. Second section was the what I'm looking for, which was really like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what are my non-negotiables? What are like things I'd like but that aren't necessary? What I'd really enjoy seeing and that I'd find difficult if I didn't have in a relationship. My red flags and or just things that I don't think I could really deal with, and my absolutely no's. Um, and then my third section was the what do I bring to the table kind of thing of like, who am I? Because it's the kind of thing of you're getting to know someone, but it's the vice versa. They need to get to know you. So I kind of did that exercise on myself of what do I consider maybe like my redeeming qualities and what are my maybe, but without saying faults, but like, yeah, just certain things that are maybe not as much my strengths, like more of my weaknesses, or like part of it was weaknesses and other part of it was the things you're going to need to be okay with that about me, because that's just it, without necessarily saying that necessarily all of them are faults. There are just certain things where it's the this is how I am as a person. Some people will be okay with this, some people won't, but either way I need you to know that.
So, all that to say,
Yeah,
thank you, Jerry, for
exactly.
that very thorough explanation. All to
Praise.
say, Jerry had this idea of like what she wanted and what, you were very good with, like, you were at a good place
Well, yeah,
of being prepared.
but that made
And
it that
like,
much harder in a certain sense because I was already picky beforehand. There's a reason I hadn't dated until I was 27, because I was very picky. Like, we're pickier. It's in the sense where for me, it's the I'm not very like
I
emotionally
wouldn't say
dependent.
desperate. I wouldn't say picky. I would say you weren't desperate, right? Like there's
Yeah,
a, like you weren't like no, 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 no. You were
no,
just like,
it's
I'm not going to compromise as to like beliefs generally. Well,
well, no, but for me, it's the I do not need nor want to be in a relationship enough that I'm willing to put up
exactly.
with just anything. Like that's like I'm part of the like more, well, I mean, and I've always been this way, but it's sort of like the sort of, it's such a movement currently of women being like, oh, but like I'm comfortable with myself and my life is pretty great. Like why do I want to include a man in this? Like to disrupt my peace and what I've built for myself? No, no, thank you. So like it's the kind of
No,
thing
it's a
where,
middle ground.
well, exactly. Like but it was the, like, part of it is true as someone who is naturally just more introverted, not very, very social. Like I'm not that I'm as social, but like it's the, my social battery is very, very limited. And for me, it's the,
Yep.
yeah, like without wanting to be difficult or being a bit of an asshole in saying this, but for me, it's the, unless you contribute something into my life, sorry. And it's the, it's part of it is, it's a lot of it is, it's not personal. It's just the, I do not have the bandwidth and the
Which is fair.
social capacity, because it's the idea where and I don't know for you, but like for me, it's the, at that point in time, and even still currently for me, see, my life is already full, quote unquote. Like it's the, I feel like I have a full life between work, between different social
100%.
activities, between friends, between church, like things. Like for me, it's the, if this is what my life is right now, I still have a currently very nice and full life that I feel like is all encompassing and that I don't feel like anything is lacking. So that's just it. And for me, the buffer, like it's a kind of thing of like I will accommodate a new person into my life, but it's the, I'm not gonna accommodate just anybody just because I feel lonely. Like for me, other than different parts of my hormonal cycle where I'm like, I'm alone, it wasn't an all-encompassing or a very like persistent feeling. It was a very occasional and temporary feeling. So for me, it's
You
like,
weren't you weren't desperate, but I
no.
do remember
Oh yeah.
after your breakup, you were a lot more forward and outward facing to being like, I just want someone.
Yeah, I
And like, not that you were gonna go and throw yourself at the first man that was interested. It's not that I'm saying you were desperate. I'm just saying you were better equipped than me after your breakup to meet someone.
oh yeah.
And
It was that weird.
I guess like what I'm saying is I'm slower, but then I happen fast, and you were just more stable over time. Like for me, I took 3 years, but then in February, all of a sudden, I was like, oh gee whiz, I like blocked my ex and like blocked this other guy that was, you know, lovely. And I was okay to be like, oh, so basically I ended up again, God thing. I wasn't trying to date someone. I was more like curious what kind of Christian dating options there were in Discord, because to be honest, Discord is like my safe place. I hate that word, but
Oh yeah.
I'm just so comfortable on here. So I
Love
was
it.
like genuinely curious, like what are the options? And
Hmm.
I found a Christian dating Discord, and I was like, oh, like that's kind of cool. I'm curious, and again, like I didn't have the intention to date anyone, but I was just like, I'm genuinely curious how you can do dating on Discord, because it doesn't seem conducive to Discord. But I went on, and like the channels were, and I was like enthralled, and it seemed very lively, and I was very like fascinated. And again, like I wasn't seeing people that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go out with you, but I was like, okay, I'll just be friendly and chat. And so I was friendly and did, the joy thing, and chatted and was weird, and I didn't really get along with a lot of people because I was a bit too sharp and weird.
You were just
But
very you. You weren't trying to be
yeah,
anything but yourself, which was exactly the right thing to do, clearly.
right. Well, and like I've been in dating spaces for so long at this point, even if they weren't successful, I've done a lot of dating online, and the reality is, if you're not being yourself, there's no point to being on this
Oh,
in
exactly.
this space,
Exactly.
because if you meet someone and you're lying or not be honest,
Good luck.
then they're gonna find out eventually. So I do try to be pretty authentic, but basically I said something really sassy in the general chat, and my now boyfriend was like, oh, and he was very
He was into
into
it.
it, and so he DM'd me, and so I'm all the during this time, like Gerry and I are very close, so I'm like texting her, being like, "Oh my gosh, like this person texted me, and like I'm like, you should join, blah blah." And then at
Yeah.
this point,
Yeah.
Gerry
Well,
joins.
well, here's the thing is that because to back up a little bit, is that I in January was like, I finally broke my cardinal rule of no online dating, because again, as someone who was
She
like,
did.
I do want to be dating, I just need to meet people, and but still being annoyed by every single person that I was meeting in person, and like
Yeah.
it's the, and ultimately the options to dating, there's only like so many different ways of going about it, and the my idea was that of just someone setting me up, but apparently nobody knew anybody. And then I tried these sort of like more in-person mingling activities, hated them. It was not for me. I
Fair.
was miserable.
Fair.
I was so miserable because they're big social group gatherings, and I'm deeply uncomfortable in those settings. It is not conducive for me to just be at my best. And then what's left, online dating, which I had just like been like, heck no, for the longest time. Like, other than that 1 week prior to dating my ex, where I tried it, like, yeah, just for 1 week on Facebook dating, and that was purely a vanity project at that point in time. I had zero intention of actually anything happening. For me, it was I need to just see that people could potentially be interested in me, and knowing full well that people who would be swiping on my profile, some of them were just purely because they were trying to get in my pants. But I just needed to know that I could be interesting to somebody at some point, because I literally never dated. And I was like, I need to know that this could maybe be something at some point. But that had been the extent of it until I was like, this new year, I was like, fine, we are gonna try. Like, for me, it was very much of this is me trying, and I still really didn't like it. And to be fair, like, I consider myself lucky in terms of online dating that I didn't fall upon too many weird people. Like, I was still mostly like still quite selective, like, other than maybe one or two of them where I was like, and that you know of, where I was like, interesting individuals,
Yeah.
interesting, okay,
That was a choice.
exactly. I'm like, alrighty, goodbye. But like, you know, but for the most part, yeah, just meeting people who were decent, but that it just, there was something that wasn't there, that wasn't quite right yet, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't like this.
Well, and dating online is notoriously tough. Like, you do have to go out on a limb a lot, I think. And it
And
really is best to do online dating in your area, because like, specifically, like, if I was to do Facebook dating again, God forbid, I would probably still, like, I only really tried for my area, because
oh yeah, and I mean,
like,
and it was a thing
it's
where
scary.
I did, and it was the kind of thing where, like, I feel like as it went on, I progressively put like the circle smaller and smaller and smaller, which is
Yeah.
exceedingly ironic at this point in time. But it's just that yeah, something about it just didn't feel quite right, but that's just it. There's a lot of like putting yourself out there and going out on a limb, and I'm not good at that part. So it was just a lot of,
Indeed. No.
so yeah, just being rather discouraged in I'm trying, and I don't know how much longer I have this in me, because that's just it. Is I'm not the most persistent person, and especially not for something that I don't enjoy, and I don't know that that I want anymore. Like, some people are very much the try, never give up, and I don't have that as much. It takes a lot more out of me to be able to do that, especially when it involves social things. So I was like, meh. And then yeah, you joined the server, and initially I just thought it was funny, because then I could just see you freaking out and being like, Gerry, he's nice. What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? He's
I
nice and
was
sweet.
very confused.
Exactly. It was very, very funny until it wasn't anymore, because I decided to join, and knowing full well that, like, I don't know how long I would have given myself had things not happened as quickly as they did. Because yeah, like, my
Well,
tolerance for being in those kind of
and
spaces, especially on Discord, where it requires a little bit of like interacting, and you're good at being active on those kind of platforms. I'm not. I'm much more of a lurker. Like, I'm just more in the background. I'm more of
yeah,
a
you are.
wallflower, and I have trouble engaging in those types of discussions, because, and I feel like for me, even just with my line of work, like, for me, it's just, it breaks all the basic rules of conversation, of like, and turn taking and sharing. There's just too many people talking at the same time. Like, it's even group discussions in general. Like, I'm like, so it's just, there's a part of it where I find it hard to engage meaningfully in those kind of spaces.
Oh, I was already dying out, bro.
Well,
Like, the
yeah.
general chat sucked my life force.
Well, exactly.
It was so much.
Well, that's
it was
just,
so much.
so that's just it. Where for me, like, that was the heart, like, that was the part of knowing that I was like, you're gonna have to say something at some point, probably. I at least, like, you at least didn't need to do that part, because you were at least more active. I still at least made an introduction, so a bit more of like a personal profile.
Wait, did you actually make one?
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah. I did make an intro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I
I did one.
stalk it
Oh yeah, well, exactly. And like, well, that's just it. And but because I lurk, for me, it was the fact of, again, and it's purely a God thing where, yeah, I think I join one day and then throughout the next day, just kind of scrolling and wandering through the different channels and whatnot. And I don't remember the order in which these different thought processes happened, and nor does it matter ultimately at this point in time. But yeah, it was just seeing this guy kind of coming around in different channels, and then at one point that faded thread or poll, or no, that wasn't a poll, but it was that guy who put that weird form online and everybody was roasting him because
Oh
they were like,
yeah.
what?
The girlfriend
What? Yeah,
application?
exactly. Yeah, basically, yeah. It was like a girlfriend application form, and everybody was like, he's joking, right? Oh, no, he's serious. And just getting roasted. And then I was just, and I think you were the one who told me about it, and I was just looking through the comments, and I see this guy who keeps putting these memes, and I laughed out loud at all of them. And I was like, he's funny. And I feel like at that point I'd maybe seen his like name around in different spaces, or because I'd scrolled through like the introductions and I'd see different
Yeah.
faces, and I'm pretty sure like I'd seen his because he joined not that long before too.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, he seems kind of interesting. And I remember even asking you about it, and you were like, yeah, he seems decent. Um, and and the fact that, yeah, there are like different polls, and the fact that there are options for like DMs and whatnot, and there was a thing where it's like, oh guys, are you okay if the girl reaches out first, or blah 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 blah, and he was like, oh yeah, that's fine. And I was like, bet, I will take that. And so I did.
Yep. She did.
I did, but I still waited like almost a day before I did it, because I remember telling you about it, and then like it was in the evening,
You're like,
and
I
then
think I'm gonna do
I
it,
was
and
like,
I
I
was like,
might do,
okay.
and then yeah, the next day I decided, I was like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna message
You
him.
know what? That TikTok audio. I'm not gonna do it. I did it.
I did, exactly. Oh no, don't go, don't worry, go. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm
I
gonna
did
do.
it.
I did it.
Exactly. Literally though.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was it. Is I
Flash forward to
no, well,
now.
exactly. I slid into his DMs with just smooth as that. I'm still very proud of myself. I mean, mind you, yeah, yes and no, but it was the
Wow.
listen. Listen, I felt very proud of myself as someone who does not know what they're doing, to just be like, I hope this isn't too forward, but your meme game is on point, and that was it.
And you had enraptured him.
I
Okay.
did. I
But
did.
I mean, within a week, y'all were like all over each other. So
Oh my gosh. It was so bad. Like, but like that first week especially was like, wait, what? Like just
yeah, you were like, it was an immediate, like me, it took a month. I was like anxious. I was crying all the time. Don't tell my boyfriend. Don't listen right now, baby. But like, I was like crying all the
you
time. I was like, so, because I was just like, again, while I was okay to like date men, I was anyway, it's a whole
you
thing,
you
obviously,
were
but like basically I was like a wreck. And but you were like, I feel relaxed, I feel so calm, my like nervous system is
I was
like settled, like
I was just
you were
so ready. I
in
think,
heaven.
well, I was just, well, for me, it's the, I was just so ready to meet the right person that when the right person came along, it just clicked immediately. Whereas for you, I think you were still a little bit weird, a bit traumatized, and had a little bit of healing to go
Still
through.
was.
You still,
Yep.
you like, and I remember you saying, you were like, I'm feeling very avoidant. I'm feeling very, like, there was a process, which is where I think both of our partners are just kind of, again, perfect for each other in their
Yeah.
different ways. Where for you, you had someone who was going to be able to kind of match that pace of needing to just give you space, of being someone who's maybe not as like who maybe lacks a little bit of initiative,
He
but
said
but in that,
he said he prayed and was like God give me patience, because he's not a patient person, but
yeah,
he knew, like he read my blog also, like in the first 2 days. And
yeah,
so he knew everything about my ex. He knew everything about like me working through it, and like it just, he knew everything about how I
exactly,
felt in life. And he just immediately was like, yeah, this girl needs, like, I like her, I like what I've seen, but she needs patience. And so
she
like
needs space, exactly,
he had to be patient, whereas Zach
exactly.
was, oh sorry, but like he just immediately could just zoom right in and be like, yep,
Yeah,
this girl's mine.
well,
And you were like, here I
well, exactly, but that's just it, is that like we both mutually
love
had,
it though.
no, but it's because we had, again, similar levels of no chill, and just, and I mean, mind you, it was still a lot to process and kind of be like, oh wow, I go from you do not exist in my world to, oh, you are interesting to the, oh my gosh, like this is it
Yeah.
kind of, well, without saying this is it, but just being like, I'm like, let's call this official because like let's wrap it up and see where this is going,
Yeah.
because that was just it where, yeah, it was just so easy right off the bat in terms of, just being very open and honest, and meeting another neurospicy person where you're like, okay, the vibes are good, this works, this really works.
The vibes are immaculate.
Exactly. Like, and yeah, I think it was just being able to bounce off of each other very, very well, and being very, yeah, very understanding, and being very, yeah, open and honest. And I think, yeah, it was the fact that we mutually were like very, very, well, serious. Like we were both very intentional about it, while also, again, being very, very goofy people at the same time. Like we
Yeah.
weren't like overly serious, but we were serious about the process, but while also just, I think we're both two people who are very sincere and authentic. So it's the kind of thing where it didn't take long to be like, here is my true self. Like I think sometimes in dating, you kind of put up a front for a little while. Where for me, it's the I'm exhausted. It's like, I'm not putting up a front. Like it's this kind of thing where it's the, I still would like you to like me, but it's the, I'm not putting up a front. Like there is, what you see is what you get kind of thing. And it was just kind of mutually like that, and just being, yeah, being open to being vulnerable in the process fairly quickly on, where again, it's the classic neurospice thing where it's the, this is our first conversation, why don't we trauma bond, like it's the like, t- talk about my favorite color, what about if I talk about my childhood, like it's the kind of thing where we have no chill when it comes to that kind of stuff. And but
The timing
it
definitely,
worked
yeah. Like you,
exactly.
I think you and I, well, we talked about in the last like attempted episode, like you and I and our relationships have very different approaches in
Oh yeah.
terms of like intensity and like speed. And so like when you guys were going at your speed, honestly, I was like that was the only time, like the only thing I would ever have been worried about in the relationship was, are they going too fast? And like in my case, I was saying to myself, am I going too slow?
Hmm.
And like
Well,
not being
exactly.
fair to, the guy that wanted to date me who is now my boyfriend. Like
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
also worried about dragging it out. And we had conversations about that where I was
Hmm.
like, I don't want to lead him on. And I was like stressing myself out because I was trying to balance like being fair to him, but also trying to give it a fair shot. But,
Oh yeah.
for you guys, it was more like, whoa, 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 slow down. Like,
Oh,
don't, like,
exactly.
whoa, whoa, whoa. So it was
Abs-
interesting seeing the difference in how we both, like, approached the relationship
ab-
online, long
abs-
distance.
Absolutely. Well, that's just it. Exactly. Like it was the, for us, I think that like the first week especially was like, we sped run the first few steps, and then afterwards we kind of like, but it like, yes, we went fast, but at the same time it felt like we were doing our due diligence in the process. It's just that we kind of, again, kind of sped ran it, but that at least that first step of the, oh, let's make this official, like boyfriend girlfriend, we were much more clear in being like, why don't we see if this is somewhere, because like and the thing is, for me, I felt, well, he was the only person that I ended up talking to on that server, or no, maybe, but not,
I think there were a couple of others, but they didn't last long.
no, exactly, like I think there were just, I think there was maybe one other guy, and he messaged me, and it wasn't even because he was interested. It was something that I'd said at some point that I don't remember what it was, but point being, it was like, meh. And that was just it for me. It's the, I'm good here. I don't want to be talking to that many people. I'm not really interested in doing that. So, like, that's just it. For me, it was the, like, whenever you're ready, I'm good. But for him, I
It
think,
was like, I imagine he was like this limpet, and you just like, your last energy you threw at your boyfriend and you were like, ah!
oh,
And you're
yeah.
like, whoo, it's stuck. Like you were just
Oh,
like, I don't, because you always say, I do not have the energy to push through on something. So if this hadn't worked out with your boyfriend, I'm sure you would eventually just like faded out of the server
oh,
because you just like,
I had,
the interest and the energy would have died.
I'm like, it's the kind of thing, again, just timing, where it's the, I had maybe 1 week in me of being there,
Yeah.
and it's the kind of thing where for me, see, I wasn't talking with anybody that I found interesting, or that I wasn't talking with anybody, definitely not talking with, like, for me, it was the, there was no point in me talking to anybody else at this point in time, because you're someone that I find really, really interesting. Why would I be pursuing literally anything else, where it's like, on a good day, I don't feel like pursuing somebody. If I'm already talking with someone interesting, it's like I'm not looking elsewhere. It's like why would I already use just whatever precious social resources that I have on extra conversations
To
that
be
I don't want
honest,
to? And
I'm more extroverted, but the idea of like balancing like there are people who will talk to like 3 or 4 girls at a
I
time or guys, and
can't.
I'm like, if I am talking to one guy who I view as more like hopeful, every other conversation would die out. Because
Well,
like
that's
I
just
did have
it.
guys texting me at the beginning, so I had like 3 or 4 going, not intentionally, just like I can't stop them from DMing me, but like one would die out almost immediately, and then one, and then once
Exactly.
my boyfriend started texting me, I'm not gonna say it was like, no, not that I was like I wanted to date him immediately, because Lord no,
No.
but immediately oh, this man was like sending novels, and like, me, Jerry, I like to talk. Well, we both like to talk, but like, if you send me as like a romantic potential partner, if you send me like a sentence in response to a question that I ask you, or like you don't offer, oh man, the lack of offering information that men have, like women will just jabber, but it's because we're both offering information to each other in exchange. Men, they
Absolutely.
do not respond, and they do not like engage. And
Yes.
my boyfriend is thankfully the kind of man who, and I think he's a bit more like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm crapping on him, because I actually love it about him. He is a very sensitive, like
Oh,
more in his feminine energy in a
absolutely.
good way, and I think, and so maybe that's why, or maybe
Well,
I don't know,
no,
but
well,
he just was like, we were sending these like huge
well,
walls of text
yeah.
to each other, and so I got like all this information about him, and enough that was like, oh, I'm immediately interested
Well,
because I can see who you are, as you said.
exactly. Well, for me, it was the same thing. That's just it. Where I think for him, I think he might have trouble at maybe engaging sometimes, or just because he can be a little bit more like awkward or not off-putting, because that's definitely not the right word for him. I think he can be a little bit like foot and mouth for certain things sometimes in the way that he maybe says certain things. It can be a little bit blunt, but like
Right.
I don't mind that. For me, it's the like it's very open and honest, and it's like I know exactly what I'm dealing with. And
Yeah.
so, but for him, I think it's that like he's not as talkative if the other person's not super talkative. Like for him, he
Mm.
needs something
So he's
to,
like a vibes guy.
well, he needs something to bounce off of. If you're not giving anything, like if you're just very short in what you're answering, like he's like, I don't know how to continue this conversation. Where
Which
well,
fair.
that's just it. Where he's like, I don't know how to keep bouncing off. He's like, if he's like, I'm very chill, but if the other person's a little too chill, then we're just kind of like, sup. Like, and he's like, it's not super exactly. So, but because again, we were both engaging, but it was the fact, like, but for me, and I found that funny because I was like, but I find you plenty engaging, but apparently I was giving him enough that he could bounce off of, and that,
Yeah.
he felt he could ask different questions. And that's one part that I found interesting and that I appreciated, is that he was interested and that he asked questions.
Yeah.
He
Same.
asked questions, and a variety of different questions, like as much as they were like deeper questions as they were very mundane or very random or very odd questions sometimes, but it was just, it gave the opportunity to talk with each other and to be like for me it was the, I think that's just it, is that I very quickly was like, I can work with this. Like this is like I like this is good, I appreciate you. And just again, like there, and you were like, I are very vibe people, and just the vibe was very good immediately.
Vibes were immaculate.
Exactly. So like I know
Yeah.
for me that was kind of why I think it just kind of went quickly to being like, well, I literally don't want to be looking anywhere else. So whenever you're good, just let me know, kind of thing. And I think for him,
You good? Yeah. You good? All
yeah,
right,
well,
let's
that, and
go.
his turnaround was, and it's funny because yeah, he's a bit more spontaneous in the kind of thing where I think when he
A
makes
little
a,
bit.
yeah, but he initially took more his time, but then again, like once the turnaround happened, that was like immediate. But for him at first, he was like, well, I don't know, I'm still talking with a few people. He's like, nothing really very interesting. And then at first he was like, oh, but long distance, because we haven't mentioned this part, but we are not close to our respecting
At
mans.
all.
Oh gosh, no. My lovely gentleman is in New Zealand and I'm in
In New
Canada.
Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah. and I'm in Canada, and my lovely boyfriend is in the US. And to be like, it's closer than yours.
But
it's still more complicated than if I met someone like near here, because there's like visas and moving and
everything and time differences and everything. And so like
Yeah.
at first, my boyfriend was like, I still want to maybe be able to pursue things like locally kind of thing. And I was like, fair enough, I guess. Like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, I can't stop you. It's like, I felt a bit weird about it, because I was like, because it felt like we were like the just friendly phase. I was like, I feel like it feels like we're already technically past that. But I remember being very clear with him. It's if that's what we are, then I'm going to need to, maybe, without saying stepping back, but I'm going to be needing to guard my heart a lot more in the process.
Stepping back emotionally,
exactly,
yeah.
Exactly.
Like you're the way you talk would change, because
yeah.
to a point you had been talking to him like a potential
Exactly,
partner. Not a partner, but a potential one,
exactly.
which is still different.
Well, exactly. You engage with each other differently, and that was just it. Where at one point it was the kind of thing where I was like, okay, well, the way we engage will have to be different. If you're not willing to commit to this, that's fine. I respect that, but that means that there are different lines and boundaries that aren't the same. And then it was just funny practically seeing him in real time kind of come to his senses ultimately, where he was like, but I like talking with you. I really like talking with you. Like, and it's the like, and it's the, why do I want to talk with anybody else? And it's the, even in person, he's like, you know what? Well, you know what? Do you want to be my girlfriend? Like, it was really cute, because it was the kind of thing, because by then, again, and this man will never cease to make me laugh, where it's the, even in the sort of more just friends phase, he was already like, I could visit you though. And I was like, excuse me, what? What? Make it make sense.
The man has no chill and never will.
No,
I don't think.
But it was the sweetest. It was so cute. It was funny. He was like, oh, but I've been meaning to just travel. It's like, oh, I could just visit you. We could hang out as friends. And then in talking about it more, he was like, because just talking about, again, just activities and whatnot. And he was like,
yeah.
And for him, it was the talking about, oh, if it goes well, maybe we'll have our first kiss together or whatever. And it was in talking about that he was like, oh, wait a minute, huh? You know what? I can't think about this about anybody else. And he was like, I'm at the point where I'd feel guilty trying to talk with anybody else at this point in time. He's like, like for him, it's like there's a dissonance that would happen that's just not working. So he was like, okay, yeah, no, do you want to be my girlfriend? And it makes me laugh, because he was still, he'd have been willing beforehand to visit and as just friends. But there's a part of me that, like, even if that's when he'd like have taken or booked like the flights or whatever, there is no way that, especially since we, like, again, with just distance and everything, it wasn't immediate that we ended up seeing each other in person. It was nearly like 4 months by then had passed. And I was like, there was no way we would have still been just friends by that point. How long
did you talk before you started dating? Wasn't it like only a couple of weeks?
It was 1 week. No, we talked for 1 week.
It was a week.
Yeah, it was 1 week. And then and after that 1 week, he had already booked flights. To come here, because again, this man has no chill. But again, it was just crazy. It was so funny, where for him it's the, it was just it was fascinating to get to see. And again, it was that first week was like, what is going on? And then after that initial madness calmed down, then we were a little bit more just continuing on our journey of it. And it was more with a delay that it ended up happening.
Well, it took me a month, because I'd say, oh man, I don't even know. I don't remember what he said, but like, he was more ready. I'd say like maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks in. He was like, I'm more willing to, like, I want to see where this goes. And I was like, hold on. So it took a month for me to be like, okay, like at this point. And again, like I was so in my head, and sometimes I still am. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I have all my like shit together, but at that point in time, I was really bad. And so I was like, I don't even know, like, if I want to be with him, but I know that I want to see where it goes. And I think it's like I didn't talk about this in the last episode, but I think it's a leftover of that conservative, like, Christian, and I still am conservative Christian, but it's as an effect of it, where it's like if you date someone, it's like the be all and end all, and like you have to marry them. And we were talking about this earlier before the call. Just because you date someone doesn't mean you're going to marry them.
No,
And so I had to like
exactly.
rewire my brain like mid conversation, like mid talking ship with my current boyfriend, because I had to be like, you're overthinking, you're freaking out. Like
Oh yeah,
just because you go out with him, like it doesn't mean you're going to get married.
no,
And it's like this
exactly.
constant, like I had to de-escalate myself mentally and be like, chill, like he's not proposing,
No,
like it's fine. And so then I was able to be like, yeah, like you know what, let's say that we're like dating, because I still want to get to know you, you want to get to know me more, and that's technically what dating is. Like I was trying to like, I had to diffuse
oh,
myself, and then I
exactly.
was able to be like, yes.
Well, that's just it. And I remember even,
That poor man.
oh, well, oh, no, but, and I remember even in our conversation, like when he asked me out a little, like more officially, he was like, again, dating is and especially as Christians, it's the, like, because we're not dating for the sake of dating. It's dating towards marriage with the purpose of that. But knowing
100%.
that, again, you're not married till you're married, but this is the precursor state. And for him, it's the, yeah, I'm willing to date you. Like, that's just it. It's the, and it's the, if I want to date you, it's the, I'm going to date you. I'm not going to just be like half, like, it's the, if I'm in it, I'm in it. I'm not just going to pretend. Like, I think that's just it. Where for him, he wanted to be a little bit more casual about it, or a little bit more non-committal about it. And then I think realized he was incapable of such a thing, which was such a clean
Yeah.
flag. Like, that was just it. Where as much as, again, the turnaround between the, well, we could keep it friendly, or the, but I think I still want to maybe, date locally, blah, 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 to, like, again, 24 hours being like, nah, you want to be my girlfriend. Like, again, he, like, his turnaround was very, very quick, where I was like, okay.
This boy 180'd. He
Yeah.
180'd real
Well,
good.
that's just it. And,
To your benefit.
well, exactly, like,
So.
but that's just it, where for me, it's the, oh, okay, you're willing to call it as it is kind of thing. And, like, and to be fair, like, at that point in time, I thought it was a bit quick to be like, oh, we're calling it as it is. But it's the, again, we are boyfriend or girlfriend. We are not engaged. We are not married. We are dating to figure out where we're moving. Like, we are boyfriend and girlfriend in the capacity that we are exclusive and are not seeing anybody else. But at that point in time, it's not, like, it's understanding that at that point in time, it wasn't any more than that. And then it was just, it was going to progress from there as things moved along.
Yeah. Well, online is trickier because, like, a lot of people I know don't really consider online dating to be possible or like real. Like,
or
a
that
lot of older people.
that it doesn't
like,
qualify. It's not on the same level. It doesn't count as much. And I know my own parents have made comments to that extent for different things.
But to them, it's like, even my own parents made comments. I mean, my last relationship was online as well, and they said the same things, like, how do you know someone online? And I'm like, y'all don't realize, like, how open people are online. Like, I have a literal blog that details all my trauma, basically. And not just trauma, but, like, all my memories, all my thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, again, not super explicitly, but you can see so much of my thought process and things that I've gone through. I detail family stories, like, you can, my boyfriend learned, he always says, he's like, I feel like I got like a cheat sheet on you, basically, because I saw like so much of your history and your family history, bam, right there in a blog, and I just had to read it.
Well,
like,
exactly.
It is entirely possible.
Yeah.
So I personally am like, I could never go like you and your boyfriend, where you guys like 1 week were like all in, basically.
Oh yeah.
But
like it was a gamble. It was a risk. And I
also understood that you're not like, yeah, but I also understand that you're not like beyond reason. So if I was like seriously concerned, like,
yeah,
you and I are close. If we both had concerns about each other's relationship, as we have had in the past, we would have the space to say something.
Well, exactly.
So I knew that, like, if I got worried, if you were pulling away from me, if you weren't being honest, if he was monopolizing all your time, like, I could say something and be like, hey.
No, and I think that and I think that's why, like, this felt so different too, is that compared to like our last relationships, like, I think you and I have grown so much in our bonding over relational just woes that we are kind of our ride or die in that sense, and just very much our
100%.
like the our sanity check amongst ourselves. Like, I think that's just it, like, mutually just being like, what's going on, are you good, kind of thing. And that's just it, where it's like I trusted you, that if you were really like, and I did appreciate it, because even you, I think, helped to temper me a little bit at that point in time, because I feel like I was spinning a bit much, and you were like, hold up, slow down, and I was like, yes, you're right, okay, breathe, because I think like I feel like I would have gotten swept into it a lot, well, not necessarily a lot more, but more than I already was, if you hadn't been there. And I know, just for me with you, it was the make up your mind at some point. I know you're being like, I know you need space, I know this is hard for
Yeah.
you, but also you need to give this man the time of day at some point in
Put that
time.
poor boy out of his misery
Exactly.
already.
But that was just it. It was the, like, for both your sake, like, you got to make up your mind, sweetie. And that was the part where I think, yeah, we both really helped each other in that sense. And yeah, that as we moved forward, neither of us had any like large concerns or whatever. Like, the vibes were good, and um like, had
Yeah.
there been anything to say, we would have said it ultimately. But that,
Well,
yeah,
and like we met each other's partners online
yeah,
once, and then we actually met. So when her boyfriend came, my boyfriend
yeah,
came. So we actually met our own boyfriends and each other's at this, like in the same period of time in
yeah.
June and
We
July.
had an IRL
So
double date. It was great.
we did. It was actually really
It was
nice.
fun.
I was very anxious because I hate malls, but like other
We made
than
it
that,
work.
and I was also in my head that whole visit. That was actually a bit of
You
a
were, yeah, you were
little bit of a
the
nightmare.
we also, yeah, the everything about, well, everything, a lot of things in our relationships are very different. Again, just the way that it started, the way that it's
Yes.
going, the visits, how we experienced the visits was very, very different as well. But that was a big thing for both of us. And I think that's just it, where ultimately, like, the process, and I think the timing of it all, again, ended up just working really well, where we ended up meeting them. And I mean, like, by then, for me, officially had been nearly 4 months that we'd been dating. But that was just it. It
Yeah.
was we got to really, again, continue very much in the getting to know each other, and just, again, going through just various different questions, and
Like readjusting to each
exactly,
other IRL.
yeah,
Just
well,
normal.
exactly. But it was the, okay, like, but there's a part of the, okay, I'm getting to know you, but I do need to see you in person. Like, there's a part of, like, say what you will, like, again, online, there is a limit to that medium. Like, there's
A
a lot,
hundred
like,
percent.
there are a lot of upsides. Like, I definitely, without saying that I'd recommend it, but it's the, if you want to learn good communication, date online, because you have no choice. That is your only mode of being together, is communicating. Like,
Yeah.
your ability to go on dates or things like that, like, it requires a level of intention and planning and
Oh
organizing that is
yeah.
not the same as if you're in person. So I think for me, like, yeah, there's a part where it's like you can see a bit more quickly how serious the person is of integrating you in their life, especially when you can't physically be in their life. And yeah, just moving, and again, how do you communicate, especially depending on whether you do it more through like a video calling or chatting, or like texting, where again, there are limits to that as well, and misunderstandings. And it's the,
Oh yeah.
you get to learn really quickly your different communication styles, your different conflict resolution styles. How do you deal with giving
Yep.
information, like, or how do you, again, and yeah, just learning each other's paces, and or like the do's and don'ts, or the whatever. So like, it's a platform that really helps, I feel, to do that in terms of just learning good communication skills. But that being said, there is a part that you don't get as much as in person, because for me, as someone where my number one love language is physical touch, and so is his, it was, and that was very interesting, as someone who physical touch is that very high, having something that's completely online was, has been very interesting. And it's the, well, how do I,
Sorry, you cut out a bit. Having what?
um being with someone where, when you have physical touch as your first love, like your top love language, but
Right.
that you have no choice but to build something that's not physical, I feel like that's something that I know for me was very necessary, and for him too. And that's another thing, online forces you to have to build an emotional intimacy, because you cannot rely
Right.
on the physical aspect of it. And I think that's just it, where the emotional intimacy allowed that once we were in person, then we could enjoy the physical parts of it a little bit more within reason. Obviously, boundaries were discussed at length beforehand. But that being said, like, for me, like, that was still a big thing that I needed to know, was the, I want someone that I'm gonna feel comfortable hugging. Like for me, like it was the I need to know what you look like, what you smell like, what you feel like. Like it's a kind of thing where I needed that confirmation. For me, by then, again,
Right.
we'd gotten to know each other enough that I was like, I'm pretty sure that I really, really, really like this person, that this person's my boo thing, but I haven't gotten to hug you yet. For me, like that was like kind of the final piece that well, one of the final pieces of between that and getting to just see him around other people and around my family and friends was like also a big piece. But for me, it
I
was,
was I was
yeah.
gonna say, like, the physical is great. I mean, I'm obviously different than you. Physical does not rate very high on, like, don't get me wrong, I love cuddles and hugs are great and I like kissing, but I'm not. I think our approach is
Oh
different.
yeah.
So, like, you are more like just throwing yourself in, even though, maybe executive dysfunction is a thing. But with you and your boyfriend, like, you guys are able to just kind of throw yourselves into it. And honestly, my boyfriend's more like that. He's more like, you know what? Actually, no, I take that back because he is also an overthinker. So, it's just funny again on the difference in our relationships. You guys are like, let's just do it, and me and my boyfriend are like, oh no, like, oh my gosh, like, oh, this is our first time meeting, like, they're strangers, like, this is so weird, and we just like overthought and overthought. But like in a comfortable position, like, my boyfriend is more physical touch as well, like very clingy. I call him my limpet, and um, and I am like very much not. I am more like, but I'm grateful for long distance because even my boyfriend will say, like, because you were slow, because you forced me to like just chill, I had to actually figure out if I liked you or not. And it wasn't just like, because, I'm sure you've seen in the dating Discord, like, within a week, people are like, I love you and I'm going to marry you. And like, just like the weird, like, this
Time
girl
out.
recently
Yeah.
just like posted a promise ring that her boyfriend got her after 2 months.
Oh boy.
And I'm just still unsure how I feel about that because I'm like, I'm not saying that you're rushing, but also like you've dated a lot of guys on there, and like it's kind
Well,
of like I just
yeah.
don't know.
Well,
So like we are very slow, but it gives you a stability for the future of your relationship, and also on a less serious note, I am grateful for, I don't know how to phrase this well. I'm grateful for the control of the boundaries that you can have at a distance. I am a very, while I
the
am not
the
into like
horny
physical
jail.
attention and cuddling, the horny jail is a good thing for me. I'm very like,
Likewise.
I like that kind of, I like that side of things, and I do know that that's a huge temptation for me, and I really like flirting in that way. So I'm just so grateful that it is online. I think for me, it is the best approach to having a good relationship. Not because I'm going to rush and have a bad relationship, but I don't trust men, and this gives me an opportunity to like go up beside the person, like as you said, communicate with them, like actually do like
Well,
him and I game together, and
yeah.
we watch stuff together, and like we like I'm going to be honest, like I'm still slower than you in terms of things, but I know that this is a man who is so kind and gentle. Over the almost 6 months of us, 7 months that we have known each other, he has been so patient, so kind, like so fun. Like we can do anything together. Like we'll feed our coffee and McDonald's cravings together. We're just so, we fit so well, but it's because we like took our time, and now things are like insanely intense, and we've
Yeah, yeah,
hit
but
that
that's just
like
you.
honeymoon stage.
Yeah,
But
you again. We just sped around the beginning. You guys just you hit it at a different stage. You just had a delayed reaction,
we
and then you
did.
were like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that was
Oh
us."
my gosh!
Exactly.
And you're like, we've been there. You'll be
Well,
fine.
exactly. Like that's just it. We yeah. The by the time we met in person, the honeymoon phase had more tapered off a little bit more, and but I think
Thank
yeah.
goodness. Can you imagine if it hadn't?
But I
Woo!
think like there was a lot of again, but it's a funny thing where for me like it was a lot but I still felt sane. Like I think that's a big difference as well. It's the
Yes.
I'm not a very emotionally led person. I think that's one of my saving graces for a lot of things is that I'm still very rational. I'm very pragmatic, and that for me like I didn't feel like I was being led by my feelings, more so than like it was a mix of both obviously, but for me it was the like I feel like a lot of people, well, like some people like dating because again of the novelty and this, it's the rush and it's the excitement and it's the adrenaline. Like I'm an anxious
Well,
person.
it's like what they can get from
Well,
it.
yeah, well, exactly,
Like,
but
they
it's
can feel good.
well, they can feel good and it's the excitement. I'm not a sensation seeker. I'm like in that sense where for me it's the I need to feel very safe and grounded.
Right.
I'm much more anxious where it's like for some people, yeah, again, they're just like he makes me feel so many different things and I'm like that doesn't sound like I don't know, just I don't think that what you should be feeling is the
Jerry's
send
like,
me to the
no,
psych.
thank
No,
you.
but it's the send me to the psych ward. I'm like that sounds unhealthy. And no, like that's why for me it was the I want to feel safe. I want to feel heard. I want to feel seen, and that's where it's like you've been giving me that consistently. I feel good around you, like, and not in a oh butterflies. Like, if anything, like I didn't have a whole ton of that. Like for me, like as much as it went quickly, I didn't have the whole bubbly feelings. Like that actually took a while to feel that. But for me, it was more the I am at peace and I'm calm, and that for me, like in a number of things, that is like
Yes.
to me that is my signal, like that is my cue, and it for me was the you are like on a virtual anxiety pill right now. Like it's the you are so good for my nervous system and that like I'm at peace, I'm calm, I feel sane, I feel lucid. I don't feel like I'm overflooded by emotions and that like big, rose colored
Yeah.
glasses. Like was there still a bit of an emotional high and like again just the novelty of it all? Sure, but it was the thing where I still feel like I could see it for what it was for the most part of the again, it's the we've just started. It's like it's the we're not there yet, but it was
Yeah.
the there was still an excitement of the I really want to see where this is going to go. And this feels really, really, really promising. And having that continually confirmed over time and having that
Mhm.
continually just strengthened over time. And again, just the emotional intimacy and the closeness in that of being just open and honest and vulnerable with each other. And because it's just it is, I think sometimes we build an emotional attachment based off of, oh, I have fun with this person. We can do fun things with each other. And I remember seeing this thing where it's the dating should be for asking the hard questions. Making memories
Yeah.
comes later. And I feel like I really like took that this
Love that.
like I
Yeah.
really took that this go around because that's just it for me. It's the again, we can have fun later, or that's why I think when we met in person we were ready to make more IRL memories together, but because we'd done the work beforehand of asking all the deep questions and like for me it was the I it kept being built on the I'm getting to know you and I like you. What I'm seeing and I'm finding out, I'm good with. And again, the good, the bad, the ugly being like this is okay, like being like there can be an us and I like this us. I like you, I like me, and I like us. And that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that whole thing because it's the same for me. Maybe just obviously I approached it like differently and it
Obviously.
took me longer. But like I do think that when you're younger, you think passion means depth and it doesn't. And now that I'm 32 and old,
You're
er,
so old. You're so old, Joy. Ugh, you're
yeah, very old.
practically crumbling into dust.
Yeah. I am. No I'm kidding. But like now that I'm older, I'm starting to realize, and especially after my like last relationship, sure, I was like super attracted to him. Sure, like we were like fiery magnetic, I always say, but it didn't mean anything. There was no like it's so fascinating. It's like I mean, I talk about my ex to my current boyfriend and I always apologize. I'm like, sorry, but it's just to say like I'm not saying that like I'm comparing. No, I am actually because it
A
sounds
little.
unromantic when I say it to my boyfriend, but I'm like, but this is why I'm with you because you're stable. I haven't like had to like beg you not to hurt yourself. I haven't had to worry about you other than the basic like are you sleeping enough? Are you eating vegetables? Cuz he's very much a bachelor.
Yeah,
But like
but that's okay.
I'm
It's the
not
like go
I'm
to bed
so
on time.
equal
Yeah.
to him. Yeah, I'm so equal to him and like I'm starting to realize like it's not this glorious like fireworks and like rainbows. Like I'm not gonna be honest, I'm not like stars in my eyes over him. I'm not. But and is he imperfect? Yeah. Like, is he like the hottest person out there? No, neither am I. But like, it doesn't matter. What
No.
matters is that I found someone who like I can get mad at him and he'll be like, I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Like,
that's just
he's
oh
so kind. And like, it's so
he,
fascinating, Jerry. I was talking to my mom, like, oh, I mean, she says this all the time, but like, her first, like, her first impression or like what she valued most about my dad was that he was kind. And she actually like wrote a letter because at the church that she was going to, they were like, who is someone you respect and like why? And she was like, I respect blank. He is a very kind man. And she actually gave him the letter and she was
oh,
like, this is like for you and kind of thing. And it just clicked with me when my mom said it most recently because I was like, oh, because it's not. And for my boyfriend, he is more like stars in his eyes, like, oh, my girlfriend's the best. And I'm like,
he's
yeah,
such
well.
a simp.
But like, he is such a sim. Yeah. And he doesn't even care. It's
But
hot.
but
But like, but that's the thing is like, I'm on my end of things. It's okay that I'm like, I'm with you because you're kind and stable, and that he's with me because he thinks I'm like awesome. Like, it doesn't have to be this like exact reason, but like we're both still so equal in that, in our care for each other and
oh
our
yeah,
approach to the relationship. And I feel like I don't know, like I don't know what the future holds in terms of like how we'll get along, or like it's relationships are hard,
oh there were
but like it's like you are the highest chance to me to find an equal partner in this life right now.
well
Like,
yeah
I'm not trying to say that I'm not committed. I'm just trying to say, like, what we said, you don't know what the Lord's plan is. You don't know where your path will
no
go. I think it's going towards him, but you know, I think it's just there are signs that are like, this man is like what you need.
yeah
It's not, maybe not what you ever like. If you had asked
what
me
you
if I'd be going out
expected.
with like a shorter man who is also ginger, who's also like younger and in another country, would I be like, heck yeah? Maybe not. But now I'm like, oh my
Well,
gosh,
exactly. But that's just
yes,
it. Like,
Queen
well,
Slay.
that's just it. Like for
Like,
me, it's
it's
the I
crazy.
think he was the kind of person that I'd been looking for. I just didn't expect he'd have to be on the other side of the planet.
Yours is a bit more unfortunate.
Like for
Like,
me, it's the
your boyfriend is
distance.
great, but the
Uh,
distance is
I think
rough.
that's just it. Yeah, for me, and all the more reason where I had to be very convinced that I liked this man because I was like, we
Yeah.
both mutually had to be like, are we willing to commit? Like, because that was just it. It was the being open with each other of the we both understand the not the repercussions, but the implications here. And I think that's just it. Is that we like
Mm-hmm.
neither of us were like shying away from that, and I think that's why I appreciated it and I trusted him because he was like, yeah, no, I'm in this. Like, this is worth it so far. You're worth it, and like, and again, as someone who's a words of affirmation girly, I was like, oh, okay, what little me, you me.
So, Ringwin.
Honestly though, but
Both of us at this point are like, so.
exactly. But there's just yeah, but there was just something so easy about it again from the get go. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that's just it. Is that I knew that I was very serious about this, and I could see that he was also very serious about it, and that the again, yeah, for me the feelings were the we are building something. This feels like a solid foundation, and it's like we
Yeah.
said, like again, it's relationships are effort, and seeing that we were both willing to put in the time and the effort into this, to put in the work, because again, relationships are work. They shouldn't be hard, but they're still work. Or like
Mm-hmm.
they should be like it's hard in the sense that you fight against yourself and against each other
Yeah.
because again it'll bring out the best and the worst. You
They
bring
shouldn't be hard because of them. You know what I
exactly
mean? Like, they
exactly
shouldn't be
they
making
yeah
it
they
harder.
shouldn't make your life hard, like that's just it.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that again, just because humans we are difficult and we are imperfect, like we're gonna butt heads, we're gonna not agree on everything. But for me it was the it all boiled about down to, and it was the difference compared to my ex, where again, and I feel like we both of us again had our standards just completely redefined. We were like, oh my gosh, oh wow, if I I thought I knew, but oh my goodness, this is wow. You've just blown everything out of the water. Where like this is fighting the good fight. Like it's the life is going to be a journey. There are going to be ups and downs, and especially if we're going to try to figure out a long distance everything, like this is going to be, we're in it for the long haul. Are we in this to win this? And from the get-go, he's like, we are going to do this together. And to me, that
having
meant
someone
everything.
Having someone who like fights and
for you, for
the
us.
fighting the good fight it just resonates with me because it's like, I just want to be clear. I'm not trying to shit on my ex. Like, he was great in some ways. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be that person on the online who's like crappy. I was a terrible person in ways too. I just want to be clear. Yeah, but I'm not like.
By the end of it, you guys were both a mess.
We are both toxic. So I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to blame him or like crap on him.
You were just not good.
He has wonderful qualities.
You were just not good for each other.
But he was not fighting the good fight for our relationship. And that's just one thing I have to say is like, I was so invested, but he was not. And I think it's so fascinating seeing the difference where, and again, to be fair to Max, he was younger. Like, no shade to him. But now I've met someone who's older, who's settled, who has a good job, and who does not maybe have a victim complex. And I have someone who is like, yeah, like,
who's not emotionally unstable.
It's so, like, I can literally be like snappy, and like, I apologized to him the other day because we were playing Peak, and I was like, I died a few times, and I was really annoyed, and you can like eat food, and he like threw a banana peel at me, and it made me slip, and I was already cranky and tired, so I was like, whoa! So I like went off on my own. I was like sulking in the game, and then I died, so he had to come resurrect me, so I was even more pissed. But then after I texted him, I'm like, I'm sorry, I was kind of snappy, and he's like, oh, I don't care. I get roasted more by my friends. And so, like, this guy wasn't even, like, fazed by me being, like, rude. I mean, of course, I still apologize, but it's just, like, this, like...
Well, that's just it.
It's crazy how much we fit together in ways that I, like, never knew. Like, he's so chill, and I'm so intense, and, like...
It just works, but it's...
You know, our personalities in different ways are so complementary that I'm literally, like... It just makes me feel like, wow, God, like, you know what you're doing.
Well, exactly. And
God is the best matchmaker. I don't know. It sounds cheesy saying that,
absolutely.
But it's like, whoa.
But I think, and that's where, again, and I think for both of us, like, I think we both can acknowledge that there was room for us to grow before being in this relationship. Like, we had work, there was work to be done. Like, there's a lot of, like, I used to say I was ready, but I was not prepared to be in a relationship at that point in time. Like, I was just, you know, it's the kind of thing where it's like, you want something, but it's like, you did not prepare for this. Whereas this time I felt a lot more prepared for it. And again, just emotionally and just in terms of like emotional maturity and like where I was settled and who, like, just addressing different parts of myself and just being very, again, open and honest and learning about myself more in the process. Mm-hmm. And that's just it, being with someone who, again, had done similar kind of work on themselves as well. And emotional maturity, oh my gosh, emotional intelligence.
We love to see it.
Emotional intelligence. Again, someone who can see the error of their ways, who can apologize without you having to beg for it either, who can take constructive criticism, or who can just, again, have you, like, you can tell each other things and you're not afraid what the other person's going to say. And I think, like, for him, especially compared to like some of his exes where it's like being afraid of walking on eggshells, I'm not that person. Like, again, there's certain things that you're going to say, like, maybe I'm not going to be happy about, but I'm also aware that, like, snapping at you and losing my shit or, like, you know, just freaking out is not the way that you solve anything. Like, and again, we're all in different places with how we react to different situations, but it's
I'm more incendiary and emotional, for sure.
But that's just it. But
I will have to apologize more in our relationship, 100%.
But that's just it. But that's why, again, you guys worked together well because your dynamic works for that. Whereas for mine, like, that's just it. Where it's like he and I are similar in we're not. Yeah, like we need, like. I remember saying where it's like he's like, I don't want to be with someone who's a bully, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not a bully. Joy is, but I'm not.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm being a bully, and my boyfriend's like, do it more. Like, it's
like,
so funny.
Did I tell you to stop?
That's literally what he says. I'll be like, I'll gut you. And he'll be like, promise?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it's so, and it's beautiful because,
It's
like, I probably wouldn't
great.
work with Zach and you probably wouldn't work with my boyfriend. Like, it just doesn't, like, these two people complement both of us so well. It doesn't mean we're perfect.
No,
No.
no,
Doesn't
but
mean
that's just
that,
it.
like, the relationship won't be hard and we won't have sins and things to struggle with. There are sins now that we struggle with.
Oh
But, like,
gosh.
you know, with my boyfriend being chill, he is also more passive. You know, with me being more organized and like strong will, or like I know what I want, I get controlling. So there are things where it's like I don't want to end up in a relationship where I'm going to steamroll the man. I don't want to do that.
No,
I don't want a
exactly.
relationship. So is it perfect? No. But like I see, you know, the Joy of 3, 4, 5 years ago who was like desperate in to be clear, I wasn't desperate for like anyone, but I was desperate for love. And so when I got a crumb from someone, I was just like nom nom nom, and I lost all my identity. I lost all my, like, I just lost everything for this person. And so now I have this equal standing with this someone who does, like, he'll literally, because again, I was so neurotic at the beginning of this relationship and sometimes even now, and he literally would be like, no, I want you to have your own life. I want you, like, he'll be like, no, I know Gerry means the world to you. I want you to spend time with her. Like, please take all the time you need with your friends and your family. When he came here, my family all loved him.
And
Like,
he
it
was
just,
so
it's
happy
like
to be there for that too.
he
And but
loves
that's
them.
but that's just
Yeah,
it. And yeah, like people who want to be part of your life, and your life meaning your life, not just having your relationship be in a vacuum. And I feel like you and I can relate in the fact that our relationships were such in a
100%.
vacuum that, like, that's the part where it
Oh
ends up
yeah,
just
oh
killing
yeah.
everything else. And it's the idea of, no, you are part of my life. Like, I mean, again, it's harder when it's online, but you integrate them in different ways. But it's the when they were coming here, you
Yeah.
didn't feel like, again, yeah, they were like pushing you away from your activities, from your friends, from your family, from your other connections. And also people, and yeah, being with people who have their own life and connections in a healthy way as well, you know.
I mean, he doesn't have enough IRL friends in my opinion. I've already told him this. But like he has friends and you know he works out, like, you know what I mean, like it's like, again, there, I'm not gonna lie, there are things in life where I'm like, I'm gonna fix that because I'm a woman. I'm a woman, you know.
Uh,
So you know there is things where I'm like, you need a woman to trim your eyebrow hair, honey. Like
but
there,
that's okay. Like there's certain
but
parts where,
that's, no, I love
but
that
that's
because I
just,
want
oh
to
yeah.
be needed. I want to be the person who makes you sit down and trims your eyebrows. Like, I want to be the person who's like, your beard's getting crazy. You need to trim it. You
Yes.
look like a homeless man. Like, I want to be that person. I'm okay with being that person. And, but at the same time, like, he's fully capable of, he makes his own food. He drives himself to places. He goes to the dentist. Like, he's a fully fledged adult with his own life. If we broke up, would he be heartbroken? Would I be heartbroken? Yeah, but we would survive and we would honestly probably be better off for our relationship unless it
Absolutely.
somehow tanked
Yeah.
somehow. But like, as it is now, I'd be like, I was very blessed to date this man,
A
and
hundred
like
percent.
if it didn't work out, you know, but like obviously it's not going that way.
No, no, like
It better not.
it's a kind of thing like, God forbid that anything happened, because again,
Yeah,
mutually we're like, again, and that's just it. It's you're not married till you're married, but as far as we're aware, if this is it, I'm very happy with that. Like
I'm pretty chill.
it's
I don't hate
yeah,
him.
exactly. Uh, that was so funny. Getting to just see you take forever to be like, I kind of like him, I guess. I
I went
guess.
from, yeah.
Like you and that's where we are different in this, where it's like my boyfriend and I we were again much more effusive from the get-go. Like, your boyfriend, he was like, he was just sipping me like, you're pretty great, I really like you, big hard eyes. And you're like, okay.
There's this picture when he visited. I don't know if I sent it to you, but we were going for Thai, and it's like all of us in like a row, and I'm like
No, you've
at the
not
camera, and
sent
this
that picture
man
to
was like,
me.
he was like smiling at me. He was like, and my sister-in-law was like, "Who's the man who giving Joy hard eyes?" And it's just so funny because, like, and to be honest, like, I'm still not like the most effusive
No.
person. Like, I tell him I love him, like, but I just still struggle with
But you're
Again,
but you're not like
like
that.
I'm
But you're not like that to begin with. Like you're not as much into
I
the
was with my ex, but I think I was also clinging because I was afraid of losing him. So I think
sure,
like in a more
but
stable environment, I'm like I don't feel the need to like cling emotionally, and like I'm not. You're right. I don't think I am generally like
y-
the mood does strike where I'm like, oh, I love you, my little whatever. I'm not gonna say all the
no,
names, but I'll say little cutesy names every once in a while. But generally, like I don't like when we would call or something, he would be like, I love you every time. And I'm like, why do you have to say it every time? Like, I'm like, we're going to be texting each other right after, before bed, and you tell me you love me again. Why are you telling? And he'd be like, I don't know, just I had to with my exes, or I felt like I had to because, sorry if I'm oversharing, by the way, honey, you don't watch this, but like, he said, like, he said they almost felt like they had to, otherwise, like, it meant this thing was wrong. Like, so it's like these, like, that's the other thing. Like, we are both, like, had habits that we do or don't do.
oh yeah, that's
And
the
then the other person's like, oh, and like this whole like I saying I love you after every call, and I'm like, you don't need to. We're gonna text each other that we love each other in like a minute. Like
but that
you don't
oh
have
yeah,
to.
but
And he was like, oh, it's just it always in my head meant same with conflict. He struggles with like I you know me, I'm a conflict queen. I love
you love a
I
fight.
don't intentionally create yeah, I don't intentionally create conflict to anyone who's watching this, but
Well,
I don't shy away from it because to me, same within the condo, conflict means growth or potential growth. It
oh yeah,
means, you know, a relationship has an issue, you need to fix it, and that means communicating. You know, it means talking, you know, maybe a bit of a fight to let emotions out. But to me, conflict is never a bad thing unless you let it be.
no,
So to me, I'm
exactly.
like,
Well,
growing up in a large family, we always had conflict. But to him, single child, he's never had experience with conflict in like a healthy way.
well,
So
yeah.
he naturally is like,
Well,
and I'm like, no, like we can fight and it's going to be okay. I'm not leaving.
well,
Like, trust
that
me, argue with me, bro. Let's do
well, that's
it.
just it. Is that, and I think that's just it. It's and that's where again, like unlearning old patterns and or
Mm-hmm.
common misconceptions, some or like personal
Yeah.
misconceptions about ourselves,
Yeah.
about the other person, about relationships, about whatever. Where you're like, because that's just it. And especially for me, like he's had more relationships in the past, so has more experience of like what what do as girlfriend. Like for me, I'm like, I'm not very good at this. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I've done this once before and I dated someone for 6 months. I don't exactly know what that means yet. Like it, like I was still like to me, like there was still a part of the I'm still finding myself of like what does it mean to me to be a girlfriend or to be a partner to someone. So like there was definitely that period of time of like how do we interact, what's too much, what's not enough, but at least because we were very open and honest with communication, we could ask each other those questions as it came along and being like, is this okay, is this not okay, or I like is this good, is this bad, or just being able to ask
How do you
questions.
feel?
Yeah,
Like, are
exactly.
you
Yeah,
happy?
or
Like,
just being
do you feel content
yeah
or like frustrated about
yeah or
anything?
like
Like,
checking in or being able to be like, I've noticed you do this, why? And like and again it was so nice because in so many ways like it's so easy sometimes to feel like you can get defensive, but I feel like we're he and I are both people where we're very again kind and understanding people where we don't set each other's like defenses off too strongly, where it's the you brought it in such a just like genuine like it's the like that's just it's there's no malice, there's no
yeah,
there
it's sincere.
exactly it's and I know like for me from the get-go, and I think and I know that that's something that like he's really appreciated for me, it's the no mind reading, no mind games, like no manipulation, no like and because that's just it for me, it's the and I think as women we tend to do that a lot of wanting to expect them to mind read, or we can be very petty with different things. And but for me it was the I can't do like this isn't gonna go well if that's what we do with each other. And I know for him that's something that like
Right.
he had to unlearn a little bit at the beginning because he'd been used to being with people or just having experiences of people who again expected a lot of mind reading, or who were maybe a little bit more emotionally reactive to different things. So he was like there was a period where I could tell he was like, I'm like, how far can I push this until something snaps, and being like, oh, this is okay. And like and I but that's just it, is that like there was a trust that was slowly built over time of being like, I'm telling you something, oh, you've received it well, and you're not hurting me with it. And that was just it. It was the mutually caring for each other. And again, exactly, like, we both want to grow in the relationship, and we also want the other person to be able to grow and be better.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And just being able to point things out to each other and just be like, I've just noticed this. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just making an observation. What's up with that? What does that mean? And like, not trying to assume or uh like give each other intentions or whatever. Just yeah.
No, just literally being curious. It's the same with mine. Like, he was like, I'm happy when you're happy. Like, I like making you happy. And I'm like, but why? And he's like, why does it make you happy? He didn't know. And so I was like, poking it, because I'm, you and I, we like rip things
Oh
apart
gosh.
in our calls. We're like, and my parents are the same, my family's the same. We are very like
Galaxy
introspective,
brain.
and yeah, we're like, why, and the nuances and nuances and nuances and the nuances. So like
Rabbit
with
holes.
him, he was just like, I don't know, I never thought about it, and I'm not trying to make him sound stupid. It's just he didn't have, I don't think, people in his life to be like, but why are
To
you doing
challenge
that?
that.
What is your motivation? And then
Mm-hmm.
like, also, not everything is, this is something we figured out, actually. The difference is so interesting. So we agree in a lot of things, but actually our approach to things is very different. He is very like hyper positive. I'm very hyper realistic. So we'll be like, we're gonna hurt each other in a relationship, and he's like, yeah, but like, I believe that we'll come back and we'll do it less, and we'll like be stronger. And I'm like, yeah, but we're sinners. We're gonna do it again and again. It doesn't matter how much you try to fix it. It doesn't matter how much you try to avoid it. We're sinners. We're gonna sin. We're gonna hurt each other. So to me, I'm like, conflict's gonna happen. It doesn't matter what you try to do to avoid it. It's gonna happen. My parents are still having conflict 45 almost years of marriage later. And so he's like, it'll just get better. We'll just keep working at it. And I'm like, yes, we'll keep working at it, but it's going to be hard. I just like, so it's just fascinating, because it's like, while we are very similar, our approach is very different. And that's actually something that annoys me sometimes, because, which he doesn't know, but like, like, it does annoy me, because because I'm such a realist and I'm so intense, someone having like a hyper positive view actually annoys me, because I'm just like, it's not real. Like, don't dream something that's not, like, I like to be very real. And
Yeah.
so it's hard, because I'm like, I just don't want you to, and then I worry, because I'm like, and I've said this to him before, like, I don't want you to think that I'm like, I'm a difficult person, I think. And he's like, I don't think you are. And I'm like,
Agree to
I'm
disagree.
trying to be as, I, hey, I try to be as authentic as possible.
Absolutely.
You know me.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
very like, I don't pretend. I'm very real. But there are, people perceive different things about you, even if you don't intend them to. So I just like always want to be careful that like he's not, I just worry that he's like biting off something, and then he's gonna wake up one day and be like, oh my gosh, she's a nightmare. So that's like my fear, is like, my husband's gonna wake up and be like, why did I marry this biatch? So I just, because like you said earlier, we have a predisposition towards manipulation and pettiness. I also have a little, a smidge of controlling. I don't do the whole mind reading thing.
Don't.
I do think you, what?
Nothing. Nothing.
Rude. But like, I struggle with sometimes not trying to manipulate him. And it's not because I'm like setting up for it, but if I want something
You're a
and
dumb
he wants to
babe.
make me happy, thank you for saying it so clearly. So, he is more the notched. So there's this, it's tough, because it's like, I could get what I want, but then it's like, if I
The power
always
you
have to say
have.
this to my family, but if I always get what I want, and then I go into a situation where I don't get what I want, it is going to be very difficult for me to handle that. It's almost not fair. And I'm not saying that I shouldn't learn to be mature and handle disappointment or conflict, and having to do what I don't want. But if, you know what I mean? Like, if someone's always getting what they want and then they can't, it is hard. So I just like, I don't, again, it's like these fears. I don't want to wake up and be like, having turned into one of those nightmare women who control everything in their life and their husbands and their kids and their household and the church, and like who have this like their identity is like how much power they have. I don't want that.
No.
And I'm not saying I will have that, but
I,
like
I think the fact that you're aware of
it
it,
is
but
a like
the first step is being
yeah.
aware. Like, and I think that's the part where, and that's why having good friends and people who keep you accountable and keep you human, keep you on the level, who can
Keep me humble.
but honestly, like who can put you in your place and be like, you need to simmer down there, like chill out. No, but that's like
Daddy chill.
literally. But that's just it where it's, or the, like even come back to sort of being more neurotic, like that's just it where it's like I can get stuck in my head and a little bit, and just like that's just it where my boyfriend too, he's a bit like the hopeful one for certain things as well. Where again he's still realistic, but I think he's,
God bless them.
I know they're so sweet, but that's just it where I think it's a good mix to have a realistic person and then a more positive person, because at least then it makes the realism hopeful. Otherwise, you can, because if your realism, like, because if you just stick with realism, oftentimes, depending on how you take it, it can feel daunting and it can feel heavy. And that's just it. Because it's just it. It's the, yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's true. Like, we don't want to deny that. That being said, that doesn't mean there aren't good things coming and that it won't also be a good thing. Like, I think that's just it, is that it helps to balance it out a little bit better, because it's the, you're taking into account the entirety
I'm more
of it.
positive. Like, I'm more positive as a realist. Like, I'm in no way a doom and gloomer. I think that's where I struggle, is I'm a very proud person, and so I think my way is best. Actually, to be fair, a lot of people do. We just don't say it. But, like, because I think that the way I approach things is best, which, to be fair, I know it isn't always best, but, like, in this way, I do think, like, I'm a positive realist, and I really like that approach, because it's like, yes, I hope for the best, and yes, I actually do believe things work out a lot if you just calm down and, like, wait and, like, just be patient. But, like,
Oh yeah,
that's where my struggle is like, I am very happy with my mindset in life, and I can often look down on others, not even just my boyfriend, like others
oh yeah,
in life who I think are less than me, because I'm a bit, again, I am very proud
yep.
and dominant, so I do view myself as being over others. So it's been very illuminating, and as you said earlier in this episode, we have both had to learn and grow a lot after our last relationships. I honestly am very happy with where I've come, and I'm honestly proud of where you've come. Like,
Oh yeah,
we've known each other since 2019, and when I say we've both been through the ringer in some ways, like,
oh yeah,
not everything like was all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of memories were made, but a lot of growth was done in a lot of tears and a
100%.
lot of pain. And like, I'm just so grateful to be, cringe. I kind of like feel like again, I'm not trying to crap on my boyfriend, because I love who he is, and I'm not trying to change him. So to be clear about that, like, I'm not trying to, be like molding him into this person I want him to be. No, like, we're going to disagree, and he's going to have different mindsets, and I think that's good. But I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful actually to be at this spot in time where I'm in a relationship that I am able to be fully Joy and not temper myself down and not,
And that's what I'm
hide myself for fear of him, like, not being able to handle it. Like, I'm able to be really
you can
intense.
be you are not too much in this, and I think, and
Yes.
that's the part where I think we all
100%.
and that's the part where we hear it all the time of people being like, you'll know it when you know it, and they'll make you feel a certain way, and you're like, yeah, but when you're in it, you're like, ah, okay. And it's the, like,
Oh.
you'll get to be
Yeah.
yourself, and you're like, it is true. Like, that's just it. It's the, you don't feel like you're too much or too little either. Like, that's just, like, both ways, because you can be made to feel small in a relationship, or you can feel like you're taking up too much space. It's the, no, like, you take up this space, and you can, like, again, not perfectly, but you coexist with each other, and you can be yourself. You are not like, they are your safe space, and you are their safe space, and that is wonderful. Like, that's just it. It's the, and that's what I want my partner to be. Like, for me, like, it's so much of it's the, I'm okay with it. It's like, again, we don't know where things are going, but it's the, at this point in time, this is all I could have ever hoped for to have in a relationship. Like this, like I'm very happy with just who I get to be. Like that's just it. It's the like I've said, it's like I love him, but I love us. I love us very, very much. And just the way that we're able to interact with each other and just be goobers. We're such weirdos. We're so weird. We're both so weird, but it's just in so many ways where like that's what we love about each other though. Like and we'll send each other messages and like that's just it where the I love you, it's the you're so weird and you're so great and it's like you're just I'm so
But it's
immensely
a matching weird.
it's exactly it's compatible. That's just it. It's finding someone with compatible weirdness / compatible freak, you know, is somebody gonna match my freak and all that.
What is that Dr. Seuss quote where it's like life's a little weird and you're a little weird?
And we find someone with
meet up with someone
compatible weirdness and we call that love.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just it.
How I feel.
But that's just it. It's the again, it's the and especially online because again, there's no physical nakedness obviously, but it's the this is my person in all of
better not be
exactly. It's in all of its glories. It's the in the ups and the downs. It's the I don't have to filter myself. I don't have to mask when I'm around you. I can just be truthful. Like again, without like, and that's the part sometimes where we have to be careful. Where it's like that doesn't give you a pass to be a shitty person. Because sometimes like we're like I just say it as it is, and it's like you don't have to be brutal and you don't have to be mean, mind you. You enjoy
when
doing
someone's
that.
Like, but I'm just being honest. I'm like, no, you're being a bitch.
No, like that's just it.
Sorry.
We're like, there's a minimal of like I think thoughtfulness and conscientiousness. Yeah. Without having to go into the extremes, because that's just it. Is you don't want to feel like again you're babying or you're walking on eggshells, but you want to be thoughtful and mindful with the knowledge that again you're never going to do that perfectly, so you're going to have to apologize every so often. And that is okay. That is part of the process. Yeah. It's normal. That is normal and healthy.
I read somewhere that learning to go back and apologize is what will save.
Yes.
Or, like, not the soul thing, obviously. But, like,
it's a big
if you
part.
Can't go apologize to someone, even if you don't think you need to, if you can't, because you know that they're, like, to me, that's, like, it's, again, I'm proud. So apologizing can be hard sometimes, especially if I think I'm right in a situation. But
being able
for the sake of your relationship and your care for the person.
Yeah.
Like I know my boyfriend would apologize like he has if he thinks like I'm even a little hurt by something. Like for example, when he annoys me when we're gaming, when he annoys me and I'm being annoyed, he'll like apologize even though it's not a big deal. Like one time we were playing a game and he killed the guy, like the people was fighting, and I was like, "Why would you do that?" And I was like shouting. Because I was like, why would you come help me? I didn't need it. Like, I didn't ask you to. You just killed the people for me. I didn't want that. Don't touch who I'm fighting. But he's never, like, we had never had that situation before. And so he didn't know that I actually like killing my own people. And so then after he messaged me, and he's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, I'm not mad at you. I just a little intensely clarified and communicated that I would like to kill my own people. And we've never, like, now he's respectful and stuff. But like, it immediately soothed it over. Instead of him being like, why are you freaking out? He was immediately just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. And I was like, I'm sorry, I was being intense. Exactly, like, but immediately de-escalated. Well,
exactly, but I think that's such a, but I feel like that's such a better approach of it. And it's understanding that, like, yeah, you're in the getting to know each other process, like you're going to rub up against each other in different ways without realizing, without meaning to. Like, that's just it where it's, I think sometimes, again, we tend to, without realizing, see the worst in people or expect the worst of people because we've been disappointed or some people can be awful. But it's the idea where it's like most people don't do things on purpose. Most people don't mean... Like, most people mean well, they just don't always do well for a bunch of different reasons. How about we calmly, kindly, lovingly explain that so that they have a chance to learn and grow and do better and be better. And that's why, like, and I remember even with my boyfriend, like, we said it a lot at the beginning, because in the getting to know each other, you don't know each other yet. Like, that's just it. You can't pretend like you know each other yet enough to have a rapport where you can just kind of do whatever. And, like, you don't have that basis built yet. So there's a lot of patience, there's a lot of grace that is necessary in the process. And I think it's being okay with that, because I think sometimes, like, that's where we can kind of trip up with each other, because we have a tendency of being surprised sometimes where things just kind of don't go our way or they don't go perfectly. And we're like, why do they annoy me? Or it's like, why are you this, and that? And it's like, because it's not perfect. And I think when we can kind of get out of our own head about that, it just helps in being like, oh, this is just a situation. This is not a red flag necessarily. This is not also the beginning of the end either. Where it's like, not everything is just, it is a blip on the radar. It is not an alarm. Like, there's a difference, but depending on the kind of relationships that you have or the experiences that you've had, sometimes telling the difference is not easy. And being able to be with someone where, again, you can be able to just have those different things or come back, and having someone who's able to apologize if they're unsure whether or not. Like, that's just it, where it's like, if they're like, I'd rather apologize in case that this is something that you were unhappy with. Like, best case scenario, you tell me, oh, no, that's fine, don't worry, like, you're good. Or being like, yeah, no, I didn't appreciate that, so thank you for that. Like, I think, but also, but also, on the flip side, being able to also tell the other person that you are upset about something before you ruminate on it and make it a bigger deal than it is because you haven't said anything. Because I think that's just it. Sometimes it's we're like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to bother. I don't want to whatever. So it's like, I'll just, never say anything. But it's no.
That's so,
but it's
so funny because I'm the opposite. I start high, and I actually, that's why I say I take a bit to like ruminate, because I'll start high and then I have to de-escalate in my mind and be like, it's not that big of a deal. Because I will immediately be like, how dare you? And then I'll think about it for like a 10-20 minutes, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was like, that's not that big of a deal. He just did something I didn't like. And like you said, it's not the end of the world.
No.
You're going to have your like comfort zone, or your, like, because that's another thing. I'm 32. So my view, like my comfort, like I have everything I want around me. I get my coffee, like my routines are set. My preferences are set. Like I'm an adult.
Yeah, but
but it's like I'm now dealing with someone who has their own preferences, their own routines, and acclimating and compromising for those, it can be rough.
Well, that's just it. Like there's a level of adapting to each other.
100%.
But I think, it's the fact that, again, we both, like, again, it comes with a level of, again, emotional maturity, but emotional regulation also is a big thing, because that's just it. But that's the thing where, like, as much as you can be like, I can start high, but at least I figure it out, and you figure it out on 100%. Your own. Like, you don't need to have like someone talk you down. Like, you will get, like, and that's the part where, like, even in our friendship, like, I've known, like, again, like, it's I will say something, we'll kind of just leave it a bit, because I know, like, talking about it immediately, we're not going to get anywhere, because that's not worth, like, again, you will get kind of like immediately like, what
do you mean?
Exactly.
No. And then 20 minutes I'll be like, fuck.
Exactly. But that's just it. And where it's like, and I struggle, like, just confronting people or whatever, for it's just, I'll throw this, we can talk about it later, because I'm also like, what have I just done? So, but it just works that way. But it's finding what works.
That's why we've stayed friends, like, but that's so where we always say this.
But that's just it. But like, because we've learned how to make that work. And it's the same thing, like, with him, where, he'll know that just because you go, bah, is not a bad thing. It's the come around. Like, that's what I've always said, where it's like, joy can be a lot, but joy can come around. Like, that's just it. Like, there are people who don't come around, and you're like, I don't, like,
I'm very reasonable. I just need time. That's what I always say. Like, I'm not someone who quickly reverses position, and because I'm a stronger personality, the actual turnaround is harder. I'm not someone who's like gonna wobble, or like, you know what I mean? I'm not a wobbler. I'm not a wiffle waffler. I am. But because I'm someone who's set in my mindset, it is very difficult for me to turn 180. Yeah. I'm like a bowl. Have you ever tried to turn a bowl when we're full going?
Where it's whereas hard. I'm like but that's just where I'm the opposite. I'm a lot more waffly, or I have trouble, like, holding my ground. And
you're more amenable. Well, I think it's a good thing.
I can be, but that means that I'm also a little bit more, not pliable, but I can be a little too, exactly. I can be a little bit too agreeable, where I tend to lose my own opinion in the mix, because I tend to want to just believe the other person or have their opinion as well, just because I want to avoid any conflict, and holding my ground, or I feel like and like, I have to be careful, because I feel like sometimes I can be easily won over by another person's opinion. And it's the idea where it's like, no, you can agree to disagree. It's like you can see merit in their opinion and still not agree, or still have your own things and still do your own thing. Like, you are not beholden to what other people think 100%. Like, you can, you can also pick and choose, and again, see places where it works and places where it doesn't. But that's where, like, for me, it's if someone's like, what are you talking about? My immediate reaction is yeah, no, what am I talking about? Never mind, never mind. Like, I just, will want to appease the situation a bit more quickly, where it's like, I've had to learn to for better, for worse, say what you think. You'll have to talk it through. Like, they'll say their part, but it's still, like, say your piece. You need to still say your piece.
Well, it also takes energy, to be honest, because that's the other thing. Sometimes I actually don't say my opinion or, like, stand on my opinion, because, to be honest, it's not worth it. Like, I'll talk to people online and they'll say the most stupid thing, and I'm like, oh, that's so wrong. Or they'll have, like, they'll say something about me, and I'll be like, that's not accurate. Like, you don't know me. So, no. But then you just have to pause and be like, bro. And so I kind of get why you're like, I'll just go with what they say. Because sometimes it's like, if you think that, good for you. Like, it's sometimes the energy to have conflict is just
exactly.
Not there.
Well, that's
just like, I am more dominant. I do have my own opinions. But maybe it's also an age thing too. Like, I'm starting to get less invested in like I feel strongly about my opinions, but you're allowed to have your own opinion.
But you have more bite and fight in you. I don't. Like, I think that's just it. Just it. It's the, like, if you're in the mood to be like, excuse me, you'll say it. For me,
it's usually for people. I'm very protective. Like, if someone is crapping on someone else, or if someone is saying, oh, do you remember, like, on the dating server where they were saying, like, why do women lie and say other women are beautiful? And it started this, like, whole meltdown because all the men were like, women are lying. Okay, I shouldn't say all the men. Some of the men were saying women are lying. They don't actually think the girls are pretty. And we're all like, your approach to this is from a masculine
it's like, you're missing the point.
You don't understand. And all the girls were like, this is why. We understand they're not the hottest person in the world, but to us. And my point was, like, to be honest, I don't go up to a girl randomly in the mall and be like, you're gorgeous, unless she's actually gorgeous. Even then I wouldn't say it, but I would compliment her skirt, or I would compliment her hairstyle. Like, I've had people come up to me, strangers in the mall, and be like, your skirt's adorable, or I like your pigtails. Like, I've had people compliment like specific things. But even, like, I've been in a club, and I've been in a club bathroom tipsy with other girls, and we're like oohing and eyeing over each other, and it's a social custom.
Women,
it's not
bringing
like,
up,
and these men were like,
and exactly, but it's the idea where, like,
and then if you're my friend, I'm gonna think you're naturally prettier. Like, I'm gonna riz you up because you're my but that's closest just friend. I think you're pretty. It doesn't matter if you're pretty or not. You are to me.
No, so, but it's the misunderstanding where it's like, oh, why are you saying it more? It's well, because a person doesn't have to be a 10 to still be allowed to feel like she's beautiful, because, again, it's like, she doesn't need to be the most beautiful person in the world, because also, I'm not trying to get into her pants. I'm not trying to get into her pants. I'm not trying to get with her.
Yeah.
That's why I can compliment her, because I am free to give that compliment, because I'm not, like, she's not beholden to me because of it. Like, she doesn't owe me anything. She doesn't owe me anything.
Now, is it sometimes an exaggeration? Sure. But that whole thing made my hackles rise, and I did get, like, into the fight. It's the same thing with the discussion we're having today about the Charlie Kirk that passed away. There are people who are making it political, and I actually did jump in and create a thread in the general chat, because I was like, first of all, this shouldn't be in the general chat only. Second of all, sides are irrelevant. So, like, there are things that make me get definitely more invested and have a stronger opinion, like, abortion and like different things, and I think they are more serious. And there are simpler things that will trigger me and make me be like, what, are you insane? But also at the same time, like, I get a lot of things from friends, like, over the years, friends have always said to me, like, you have strong opinions, but you don't make me feel like I have to
No,
have your
that's
opinion.
just it.
Like, and so I will have strong opinions, but if you have a different opinion, I'll be like, oh, interesting.
You're
Why
not,
is that?
yeah,
And I'll like,
you're not imposing.
but again, I had 9 siblings. Like, I grew up in an extremely verbal family. I'm not trying to excuse myself because sometimes I can be a little intense, but we all grew up debating. Like, this was just like how we almost
Oh, it
communicated.
is.
So to me now, like, having this, like, when I meet someone and they're able to have a discussion with me, I'm like, heck yeah, like, let's go into it. It doesn't mean, and I think that's the thing, when, say with my boyfriend, he thinks conflict is bad. He thinks conflict means things are broken. I'm like, no. Like, maybe temporarily they could be if the conflict's bad enough. But oftentimes there's just a miscommunication, or like one person's being realistic or too sensitive. Like, I could be really sensitive. So sometimes he'll probably say something if we get married. He'll say things probably during marriage and I'll take it poorly because I'm
Oh
hormonal
gosh,
or
the
something. And then
hormones.
it's gonna, the hormones are
Like
not great.
and that's a part of also, yeah, just being realistic about it, where exactly, like, it's gonna happen, and that's not always a bad thing, just because it is
No,
what it is, and we're both human, we're both limited, we're both faulty by default.
very
and
much
and
so.
yeah, but it's understanding, yeah, like, who do you, again, we come back to who do you want to fight the good fight with? Is this the person that, you know, yeah, like, because you want to be able to,
Love
yeah,
is a
exactly,
choice.
but that's just it, where you want someone that you can problem solve with. Like, that's just it. It's the life is going to throw curveballs at you. You want someone that you can have those discussions with, and that you don't want someone who's just going to agree with you with everything, because again, it's together that we thrive and survive. Like, it's, and I'm very much of the opinion where I feel like in couples, it's the being very, very similar sometimes means that certain things can be a little bit trickier because you're a little bit too much alike. But the, like, opposites attract, I'm also not exactly in agreement with either. I believe more and more like just complementary, where it's there are certain things that you will
Yeah.
be similar and you will vibe with because that helps. And again, I'm not saying that those kind of couples can't work, obviously, but it's the, at least,
Well, like 101, the 101 questions. Do you remember? I don't know if you read the prologue or whatever,
probably.
but they were saying, like, you want, um, basically it's a book that, well, we're only halfway through, but you guys are done it. But
It's been a
it's a
while.
book of 101 questions to ask before you get engaged. And so, like, um, the prologue talks about how you want a relationship that your gears aren't grinding too much, and basically saying there does actually need to be more similarities than differences. I actually always kind of bought into the opposites attract thing, but now I'm kind of like, no, like, you need to have a similar base to build a life on. Otherwise, like, what are you going to agree
Exactly.
on?
I think,
Like, you need to have,
and things,
like, obviously there's going to be differences, but like the main morality and ideals,
yeah, I
outlook
think
on life,
it's,
like the way the way you like want to go, it needs to align
yeah, well, I
somewhat.
think it's the having compatible and similar ideologies, morals, values, um
Yeah.
ideas and goals for the future, having also at least a few common interests, because you want to have someone that you can do things with, because you don't just want to be always in parallel. Like, I think having your own life and having your own hobbies is also extremely healthy. But it's the idea where it's like you want to have places where you can find each other and have places apart. And I think for me, it's the complementary is more in terms of skills, I think, or more like just different, like, strengths, in terms of,
Yeah, like
well,
strengths and weaknesses
I feel
complement
like
each other.
that makes
Yeah.
more sense of some, like, sometimes it'll be more opposite, but again, polar opposite, it all depends. But it's the idea where it's like, again, it balances each other out more in that sense, rather than having opposing ideas, because that's just it. Like, that's, you're gonna butt heads, versus if you're more complementary in terms of like skills or strengths or like capacities for different things, that's where, again,
Oh,
you make
100%.
together one fully functional human. Because
Yeah, because if you're both stubborn, like my boyfriend is stubborn apparently. I have not seen
yeah,
it.
no, but it's the kind of thing where, like, no, but it's,
So, but like if we were both like as intense and stubborn as I was, we wouldn't
no,
get anywhere because we would both be just
well,
like butting
exactly, but
heads.
well,
It
exactly,
wouldn't
it's the
work.
idea where it's like, I know that, again, it's good that I'm with someone who's a bit more spontaneous and who's a little bit more like impulsive, a little bit more just go getter, and like will go at it, because
Yeah,
I
100%.
struggle with the opposite between the executive dysfunction. Like I get very stuck. I get very in my head. I get very like so like there's a bit of a balance where like for him he's like let's do this, and I'll be like hang on a second. So like it helps move things forward in that sense, and that you can have it for just a lot of again a number of different things where it's like one person's just really good at organizing, the other person is really good at another thing, um or just house skills. It also helps if you don't all like have just complementary things, or else you're just going to rock paper scissors for everything, but which is also fine ultimately. But
I think it's just the like the willingness in
I think,
some
yeah.
ways. Like obviously, I actually do think you do need to have
Oh,
similarities in
absolutely.
some things, and I do think, like you said, the complementary opposite kind of vibe. But I do think, yeah, like there are things where like both of us will be like, yeah, we'll do it this way, and then we'll have to rock paper
Yeah,
scissors.
I think,
And I look forward to that. I look forward to be honest, I look forward to the squabbling and figuring
yeah,
out like where things
exactly.
go and like how to organize. Like it's just it's like you're creating a whole new life for yourself with someone else, and it like is it going to be annoying sometimes? Yeah.
But that's
Life is easier alone in some ways,
but it's
but
also more,
it's
but
fun
exactly,
too.
it's so much more interesting, and like exactly like you're living life, you're not just puttering along and just surviving.
Yeah. Which is what we were doing before this episode. At least I was. I was very much surviving. Now, don't get me wrong, I was hanging with friends, I was hanging with family, I was doing things at church and stuff, but I was still, like, and even now because we're online, I still find myself somewhat surviving. But I think I'm starting to thrive more than anything because, like, I'm looking towards a future now. Without, like, and again, I don't want to paint too wide of a brush because there are people that will listen to this maybe who are not interested in
Oh
relationships,
yeah.
who don't need a partner to survive and thrive. I actually
Oh
love
yeah.
that. I think it's an amazing thing. I don't do well, and it's not even romantically. I just don't do well alone. And as I'm getting older, it's like, yeah, I would like a romantic partner, and I would like someone that I could marry and maybe have children with and build a
Yeah.
life together. I think for me, that is what I'm called to do and is best for me. In also terms of being healthy, like it's so weird. Like I always felt like, oh, I could do whatever. I could be whatever. I'm agreeing with my dad now. I think I am better off when I have someone to look after and someone to look after me.
That's a big thing though.
Just
But
way
that
better
but I
for
think
me.
that's where also just being in this relationship where again it's the mutually taking care of each other
Yeah.
is so nice, because that's just it, is the I'm looking out for you and you're looking
Yeah.
out for me, because that's where it gets draining, is the if I'm looking out for you and I have to look out for me. Oh boy. And I think for you that's what ended up happening.
Been there,
Exactly,
done
like that's
that.
just it, where
Yeah.
it feels a lot more uneven in that sense, but it's the like I think in it works both ways. It's the in and because for me sometimes like I can get in my own head and I can just get a very uppity about certain things, and he's just such a calming effect
Hmm.
where I'm like, you need to get over this, you need to get over yourself. It's like chill. But in other ways he's like, it's time for you to go shower and it's time for you to go to bed, because I also really appreciate that, because by the end of the day I I got nothing left. So that's just it, having
Yeah.
someone where like again life is, it's easier and harder for being two people, like in all the ways that it is like it, but you will, the hope is that it is for the better ultimately, like it's the if given the
Hmm.
choice, I still choose this, I still choose you. Where in that like that's where you can see in different relationships where it's the like when people
Yeah.
are like, oh I got her there, and it's like, oh man, it was a relief, and it's like, well that's saying something.
My ex's last relationship, when he finally broke it off, he was like, I wasn't even upset at the end. I was relieved. I was like, he's like, it's not like, it wasn't a relationship anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like he called it basically, but it was dead long before that. And to be frank, I wasn't relieved at the end of my relationship, but now I am like, oh. So, like, that's not how you should even exit a relationship, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that's a sign of a healthy relationship to have that, like, oh, yeah, no, that was good. I'm glad I'm out. I'm glad I was freed from that. But if I got out of this relationship. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be relieved, you know, and that's why I know it's like a healthier one, because it's like I would actually lose someone who like genuinely cares for me, is very attracted to me,
Yeah, it's all
and
about you, Joy.
like, well, yeah. No, but I'm saying it from my point
Ah,
of view. Like, obviously, but he says to me, like, I'm so great. Like, I think I'm kind of a shitty person sometimes because I'm a sinner and I'm selfish. But he's literally like, you are the best. Like, he's like, I have never had such a healthy relationship with a woman before. And it's, you know what? It's simply because we're honest with each other and open, and he's never had that. And like, I'm like, like, this is just a normal relation. This is not even a romantic relationship for me. This is just like me and you are
well,
so open
exactly.
with
But
each
it's,
other. Like me and my
yeah.
sister-in-laws and my sisters. Like I operate on this level of honesty, and he is like, this
Oh,
is like heaven.
exactly.
And again, it's just like we were what each
Oh,
other needed,
absolutely.
and we didn't even
Well, and that's
realize
just
it.
it. And again, and
It's
I mean, as
amazing.
much as we razz each other, it's like, I know you're a great person. Like, that's why we're friends too, because I appreciate you so much. Well, that's
Same
just
for
it. Like,
you.
and I think that's why, like, mutually, we were like, we both know that we're great people. We're not perfect. We've all got our flaws, but it's we're just looking to find our mutual great person to kind of because that's just it. And that's just it, where it's like you want to be with someone where you're like, oh, this person loves me, like I mean something to someone.
I don't quite know why,
Exactly.
but they
It's
love
like, I don't
me.
know what I did to deserve this. There are moments where it's like, what did
Yeah.
I?
Are
Yeah,
you sure?
exactly. And it's like, okay, and just, but yeah, being like, yeah, just feeling you're mutually with someone where you're like, this is pretty good. This is pretty great, and just, yeah, like on both sides having it feel that way of just like, yeah, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah. It's healthy. It really is. It's beautiful, and I'm you know, we've almost been 2 hours, so we should
Probably.
stop. But yeah, the summary is, you know, whether you're single or with someone, you know, there's ups and downs and pros and cons to both. And I'm grateful for having a boyfriend. Of course, you know, I love him, but like
I'm so proud of you
it
to
doesn't
be able
matter.
to say that at this point, by the way. Not to cut you off, but I'm so proud that
Thank
you've reached
you.
that point of
Thank
being able to
you.
say that. It took you long enough.
But I'm just thankful for like the family and the friends and you and like the people and the situations in my life that have brought me through like a lot of pain and to this point, but also like even if I wasn't dating, just like the wonderful life I do have. Like it, you know what I mean? Like it's like, I'm not saying this is like my mountain I'm looking down and everything's amazing. There's ups and downs to life, but I'm just grateful in this moment for the Lord's grace and his provision in my life, and like how it's like I just see the beauty in these little things in my relationship, in being able to be near my parents right now, the blessing of my parents, them being like, hey, like say hi to your boyfriend. Like they're so into like communicating with him and like asking how he is, and there's just this like beauty to a life that is lived in a godly way. And I just think, and I'm again, not that we're perfect, you know, not that we don't have temptations or struggle, but it's like a life lived on the right path is like, it's beautiful. It's
Well,
just beautiful, and it's good in its
oh,
highs and
exactly.
lows. It's not perfect. It's not easy, but it's like even in the struggle, it's like I still know this is worth struggling for, and it's what I should
Yeah.
be struggling for,
Well,
and it's
exactly. And I
right.
think,
You
and
know.
as you put it, like again, as just as Christians, where like we've both seen the, oh, Christian versus non-Christian relationship and being like, ah, I see it now. And just realizing it's like, you
Yeah.
know what? It's really nice having someone that I can do a Bible reading with, someone I can pray with, someone I know goes to church, someone I know goes to a home group, is involved in a ministry. Like there's just something to it. There's just really something to it that I'm like, it hits different, and
It's a safe feeling for
it's
me.
so
It's like
nice.
kind of hot, but kind of safe. You know,
It's
it's
warm.
like ooh,
It's cozy. It's
yeah.
comfortable. Like there's just there's like for me again. There's this sense of peace, and again, without saying that it's easy. Like, and that there won't be ups and downs. And just again, for both of us, the idea of an international move, I'm like, boy, if I start staring at it for too long, I get just a little bit overwhelmed. But that's just it. Where it's the like, I feel like I've gotten, like, this has allowed me, and again, maybe I say that because again, just at large things are still going well for all intents and purposes, but it's the idea where I feel less thrown back and forth by my circumstances as I maybe normally would, where it's the like, God is good, God is in control, God knows what he's doing. I'm just here for the ride, and allowing myself to say, okay, like you put in the work, now you get to reap what you've sown, kind of thing. And it's the
it feels
but
natural.
that's just it.
Like this is just
exactly
what was coming.
Like, and I know
meant.
that for me, and I've told you, and you know this, where it's like for me, and I think that's why, like, as of the new year, without saying that there was like a desperation, but for me, it's I just, because I'd gotten the almost like confirmation with my first relationship of I'm not meant for being single, how do you put it, yeah, kind of, but it's the like, I'm not meant for this. Like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, I have not been promised this, if I can put it that way, where it's the kind of thing where it's like, there just felt like this sense of I've promised you something else. Like, I have something else planned for you, and it felt like, and there's no way of explaining it, and it feels weird. Like, to anybody who's not religious or whatever, they're gonna be like, that sounds sus. But like, there was something very, very visceral about it, of something is coming. There was this deep set knowledge.
You did say that.
Like something was coming, like, and like there is a promise that is about to be fulfilled. I just need you to trust me, and to trust what I'm doing. And you know this, like, the weeks preceding meeting him, like, this the spirit and just, again, the attacks of the spirit are very real. Like, as much as we can, like, the spiritual realm is very real and very alive. Like, you know me, I was a mess the weeks beforehand, and I was like, what is going on? What is happening? And like, and I think what grounded me in that moment is being like, if it's this bad, is because there's something coming, and there's something that the devil doesn't want me to see. There's something on the other side of this that you don't want me to get to experience. There's a joy on the other side of this that you don't want me to have. So I just have to hold on long enough to figure out what the heck is what's about to happen. What is this, like, what is this? And then to finally have it and be like, oh yeah, now I get it. It all makes sense now. It's like, no wonder it was so raw. Like, it felt so bad and so intense. Like, yeah, no kidding. Like, just the gifts of it all, and being like, oh, this is mine. And I think that's the part that's so weird sometimes, because after waiting for so long and being like, this isn't working, to finally be like, here it is, you're like, wait, what? Hang on. Huh? This is suspicious.
Okay.
Yeah,
Calling
good idea.
I'm releasing everyone from this nightmare. No, I'm kidding. I hope sincerely you guys kind of found this interesting.
Oh gosh.
Hopefully. It was kind of just me and Gerry catching everyone up and then talking about how great our boyfriends are.
Yeah. But yeah.
But we are thankful for anyone who is listening. You know, we are very up and down, I don't know, like, inconsistent. So, you know, this is going to be like our family and friends listening, but we appreciate you. And, you know, we look forward to seeing what the future holds for us, and, you know, where this podcast will go, what news we'll have to tell you next.
Yeah. And who knows how long that will be. It's fine. It'll be fine.
See you in the new year.
Probably. More likely than, if we're honest with each other. If we get something out before the new year, that'll be quite something. We should try.
We could do it like December.
Sure.
Like early December. After your trip, right? Because you won't be back till when?
Basically that, yeah. Because you're going, you're having your second visit in October, and mine is in November.
End of October, so it's mostly in November. Yeah. So yeah. Either way, October, November is kind of out, so December might be the better bet.
Probably.
But if not, we will do like a January one because we're less crazy generally then. But who knows what updates will happen. Hopefully we'll have a bit of a more interesting topic maybe next time. But we might also have updates to stuff. So anyway, yeah. This has been Gerry and Joy in Kaleidoscopic Chaos. And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.